You have asked for it, so welcome to my tour of my 1950s pink diner, my pink kitchen. So I was going to show you a tour right quick. Okay, let's just start right around here. That's just a garbage can. It's not antique or vintage or anything. It's new. The paper towel holder is a vintage Scott paper towel holder. I have an extra one laying up here. This is an actual vintage poster showing a GE Electric kitchen for $42.61 per month. I don't think you could get it for that now though. This is a modern pink toaster. The cabinets are not vintage, but they do have vintage knobs that actually I couldn't find a pink in these. They came in red and yellow, and I actually have some yellow ones in the other kitchen. But I actually painted them the pink. And just a peek on the inside of the pink dishes. These are Buffalo restaurant dishes. This is an actual vintage bread tray. I have two of those. I'm not sure where the other one is right this minute. And let's see, we can even turn on this light on the stove, and we can actually turn one on right down here too. This is a vintage 1950s General Electric stove. Let's see if we can, there we go. The tops are the vintage Mamie pink countertops, and that's a Keurig coffee pot, so it's modern. Okay, some dishes in there. Have a pink ice bucket up there. Okay, then this is just a retro poster. It's not really vintage. This is an original 1950s mirror, and this is original vintage 1950s Kit Kat clock with its eyes that rotate back and forth and the tail that swings. Then here is another vintage poster from Western Electric, which is what this telephone is, an actual original Western Electric telephone. And the cabinet I actually got from a family member several years ago, and it's the first and only piece I've ever redone myself. I was going to get it done and got to thinking about, well, maybe I could save some money. So I watched some YouTube videos and I actually redid it. Normally I don't like to redo dark furniture. I love dark furniture, but in this case, this was a dark piece, and I redid it and did it in white. And let's see, and of course I have my vintage Pyrex dishes. There's the daisy ones. There's the Amish print one right there, and the solid color, I think it's the bubblegum pink. There's also a flamingo pink. Those are just they're fairly old, as in maybe 20 years old, but that's the J.C. Penney dishes there. The little vintage violets, 1950s. This is a vintage 1950s canister set, and that's an actual vintage mirror, and the light above it is also vintage, and you may not can see it, especially with it on, but it and the one in the center here match very well, even though they were bought at two different times from two different people, but they look like they go together. You may not can tell it in the picture. This is a older antique sink. The base part was painted a mint green, which was very pretty, but I didn't think it'd go with my colors in here, so I redid it's a good place to put my iron fryers also. And I need to change out my towel, it's like, okay. And over here, this was a bedroom that was made into another kitchen, so it really was supposed to be a dining room, but it ended up being an extra kitchen. So this right here, if you can see, there was a door from that wall right there to over there. Well, there was a wall and a door. That was the closet. So we actually just put a second fridge in there and a cabinet to hold a microwave, which is not vintage. Let's see, in this drawer here, we have some vintage utensils. This is probably a 1920s, 30s, or 40s, somewhere along in there on the light fixture. This was a closet, so it just had this kind of light, but it was just the plain, like you would see with a string hanging. But we actually have fixed it where we can turn it on and off here, so I can use the string to turn it off, but I didn't let the string hang down. I just left it like that. That is a vintage, came from a good friend of Ronnie's, and he passed away last year, I believe it was. And he knew I liked old signs and things, so he gave me that. This is the chrome and Formica dinette set, that 1950s also. Let's see here. And then this is a 1950s cabinet there on the wall, and it has a little bubble glass. And let's see, I'm actually going to put some spices in here right now, just have this kind of stuff. This was actually green when I got it. It was very pretty, but again, I painted it pink to match in here. It was actually like a bathroom, a wall shelf that you would use, but I'm using it in here. And this is a little vintage 50s little container that I thought was cute. And I actually just have right now some little packets that you put in your water. That's what I'm using it for right now. It might get used for something else later. And Dr. Pepper vintage sign on the wall. It's actually, let's see, 1960. Talking about who blabbed the secret formula for the Dr. Pepper. And I believe that's it, other than also the vintage. Well, it's new, but you see the black and white check floor. That's kind of a 1950s style. And then the ceiling, excuse me, you may not can tell that it's actually a light pink called powder pink. And you can tell if you look at the molding that the ceiling's pink instead of white, because you see the white molding. That's actually styrofoam that you can put up over any kind of ceiling really, but a popcorn ceiling or just a plain whatever. So anyway, that's about it, I think. So I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.